I was fortunate enough to be friends with Prince, man, at 12, 13 years old, you know. So I met him, and when he had to be like 12, I had to be like 13, 14, or something like that. And he just amazed me, man. We were playing basketball and stuff. I didn't really know, you know, that he was musically inclined like that until I saw him. Back in the day, everybody knows about the Wake Community Center and stuff, and that's where all us teenies, you know, us little shorties and teenagers used to go and stuff. And that's where I found out that he could play, you know, the guitar like that, man. And he had the Seals and Roebuck guitar, and he was just wearing it out, man. He was like 13 years old, man. I was just amazed at how good he could play, man. And the guitar was damn near bigger than him. But he was so amazing on the guitar, man. And so I was like, damn, this is what I want. And I was a drummer and stuff, and he knew about that, but, you know, he had his own circle of friends, and I did too.
So how did you guys come together? How did the group start to form?
Well, we had rival bands, if you can believe that, as teenagers, man. I was in a band with
Like really in the movie?
Yeah, I was in the band with a Flight Time, and we were right down the street. It started out with me and David Island, and we had a bass player named Gregory Ash and stuff. We started a little 3-piece and stuff and just practicing in his basement and everything. And then after that, Terry Lewis moved here from Omaha, him and his brother Jerome and stuff. And he found out I played bass and all that. So we just, all the teenagers, you know, we started getting together. Cynthia Johnson, who ended up being a Miss Black Minnesota stuff. You know, she came from St. Paul, our guitar player was from St. Paul. And after a while, we formed this band, Flight Time, man. And we were literally rehearsed every day in David Island's house on 15th and Upton over in, you know, Plymouth over north. And well, you know, right up the street, Chris was rehearsing with Grand Central. He had a band called Grand Central that had him and his cousin Chad Smith and Terry Jackson, William Dowdy, and his Andre Simone and his sister, you know, Linda, who I went to, you know, junior high school with. So they were literally up there 1248 Russell, and then we were down 15 up, and then we were like rival high school, you know, bands.
So how did you start from being rivals to partners?
Oh man, that's the beginning of the time, man. That you know, and I'm gonna tell you a little story about that too. I was originally, I wasn't supposed to be part of the time, man. You know, they had that fateful meeting out there on 394, and Prince had always watched us from afar and stuff. You know, this is after he made it. You know, this is after his first album, you know, that had Soft and Wet, and then the second album, you know, he had Want to Be Your Lover and all that. Anyway, him and Morris were great friends, you know, so they used to always come and see us, you know, and Morris joined Grand Central later after Prince and them kicked his cousin out or whatever and stuff. And Morris was a drummer. So anyway, Morris did the one tour, the Dirty Mind tour, and he was just filming it or whatever. And so he had him and Prince used to, you know, he used to live at Prince's house and stuff, and he had a song called Party Up, and Prince liked it. So Prince made him a deal. He said, man, I can either give you money for this song, or I can help you put together a band and get your record deal. So Morris chose the record deal. So anyway, after they got off tour that year, he came back, he said, you know, go get the guys out of Flight Time. And by this time, Flight Time had evolved, because now Alexander O'Neill was our lead singer, you know. We had went through, you know, various lead singers. We had Sue Ann Carwell, we had Cynthia Johnson for years and all that. So this was the last incarnation. Alex was the lead singer.
How did he get in? So did Jimmy and them put him, or somebody said?
Terry recruited him, man, because when Alex moved to town, he moved here from Philadelphia, Mississippi, and he was in all the bands that was here, the music scene here, the bands like the Mystics and the Horn Bands like that. They loved him, so they hired him. You know, so he was doing that, and then when he fell out with them, he would get in the more urban bands around here, like the Enterprise Band and Pleasure and Flight Time. He joined Flight Time, you know, so we got him. And so originally the time, you know, they had the meeting out there, and the time was Alex was supposed to be lead singer. Morris was going to play the drums. You know, me and Morris had grew up together from 11, 12 years old playing drums in his mom's living room, man. So he was going to be the drummer. And Monty and Jimmy Jam and Terry. So they had the meeting out there on Highway 12 stuff, and I got there, and of course Alex wanted to know, well, how much paper's involved, and you're gonna buy me a house, and and all this kind of stuff. So Prince immediately squashed. He cut the meeting short and he told Morris, go back and get Jellybean, and you're gonna sing. Well, Morris freaked out because he didn't plan on being the front person. He thought he's just gonna be the drummer, And Prince said, no, I'm gonna teach you what to do. He said, I'm gonna teach you what to do, Don't worry about it. So go back and get Jellybean, that's what we're gonna do. And that's how the time started. And so that's how we ended up 1980, 81. That's him and Morris cut our first record, since they were living together, they cut together. Prince had a studio in his house and they cut it. And we took pictures and we started rehearsing 7 days a week, bro. It was like boot camp. And thus, the time was born, man.